Hello Fatin, season's greetings. I hope you've had a good break and been doing lots of work. It seems as though you have been doing lots of work. This is the one handout that you didn't manage to complete, and I'm just going to talk through the missing answers to the blank spaces, and hopefully then once we've finished this little talk that you'll understand the kinked demand curve. It's obviously linked with oligopoly, one of the market structures that we did, consisting of between 3 and 6 very large firms. First of all, it's the demand curve that shows in an oligopolistic market. That's the first thing to say, oligopolistic. The second thing, let's start at the very beginning of the text. In the 1930s, Paul Sweezy, S-W-E-E-Z-Y, came up with the theory known as the kinked demand curve to explain how firms in an oligopolistic market work. The theory supports the basic belief that the market price tends to remain unchanged for long periods of time in an oligopoly. This is known as price stability, so prices remain stable, or price rigidity, and also that just means the same thing, they stay fairly stable. On the above diagram, the market price we'll put down is P, and this is this market price here with this quantity Q. If a firm did decide to raise its price to, let's say, let's just rub out this bit first, raise its price to say P1, and let's mark P1 on here, consumers will switch to other firms to buy the product. Now, as I said at the very first instance, that will only be one of the other large firms in the industry. This is because in an oligopoly all firms produce a very similar, not the same, but similar. Remember the example for oligopoly we gave was mobile phone operators, supermarkets in the UK, things like that. All selling food, all selling mobile phone contracts, but slightly different unique selling points and slightly different ways of competing with each other. As a result, the demand will contract and the firm will be faced with a price elastic demand curve. So as we can see on the diagram, price goes up to P1, and as we can see, this bit is an elastic demand curve above P, and when we raise it to P1, there is a large, proportionally greater decrease in the quantity demanded. So there's no real incentive for one oligopolist to do that. And this would mean that revenue and profits will fall. If a firm decided to lower its price to P2, let's now show that by falling in price to, let's say, there, P2, then that would mean there is only a small or a smaller, proportionately, increase in the quantity demanded to Q2. So, if a firm lowered its price to P2, the other firms would follow and lower their prices for fear of losing customers. So if Tesco, for example, reduced their price, then all the other supermarkets would also reduce their price in response to make sure that Tesco don't get all the new customers. The result would be a price war, something you talked about in your coursework, and only a few extra customers for the original price cutting firm. The firm will be faced with a price inelastic demand curve, and by cutting prices will find that revenue and profits will fall. This means that there is no incentive for the firm to either raise or lower their prices, and therefore they will remain unchanged. Okay, so price leadership then. Modern economists' belief that oligopolists today act differently. In some industries, like the steel industry, when a firm raises its price, the others will follow and raise their prices. The reason is that they can see a joint advantage of higher revenue and profits for all the firms. However, it's worth noting here that if the firms who are supposed to be in competition with each other, if they collude, what's called collusive activity, if they get together and collude and fix the price of their good or service, or they fix the quantity in supply, then that is illegal, and under UK law you will be fined very heavily. Price wars. In other industries it's quite common for firms to lower their prices to attract or gain more customers to their shops where they are likely to buy other goods as well. Supermarkets use non-price competition. Non-price competition, remember, is anything at all that one firm can compete with another firm on, which is not the price of the good or service. And they will use non-price competition as a major method of competition. Sainsbury's and Tesco's are often involved in price wars with each other. However, price wars are, generally speaking, not commonplace. Okay, so to summarise for you, Fatin, the price in oligopolistic markets does remain stable. Most of the competition is on branding, is on different unique selling points. This is because there is no incentive for an oligopolist to raise their price, because no one will follow and they will lose lots of customers. And there is also no incentive for one oligopolist to lower their price, because they will only gain slightly more customers, and the longer term implications is that the other competitors will also do the same, and the market price will be depressed in the longer term, meaning that revenue and profits for every single oligopolist in the longer term will fall. Okay, I hope that does help in answering some of your questions, and I hope now that you can consult your textbook and you have a good strong grasp of oligopoly and the kinked demand curve. Okay, I look forward to seeing you next Monday or next week, whenever you return. Okay, thanks Fatin, goodbye.